हरे राम 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 राम
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा।
Hare
Please,
Krishna, Hare Krishna. And
Krishna Dandavanam. Do Mangalacharan and then continue through Padlilamrit. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshitarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So yesterday we had a very nice celebration, the Balaram Purnima, and this week we have been singing this nice wonderful prayer as praying to Lord Balaram, seeking protection, because he is the ultimate protector, the first and foremost servant of Lord. So let's continue reciting this prayer today. And then next week, of course, is Janmashtami, so we'll sing some prayers for Lord Shri Krishna. Okay, so I can sing again Balabhadra Stotra Kavach by Srila Vyasadeva, singing in the same melody as we sing our Mangala Arti. Golokadhamadhipati Parishwaraha Parishu Maham Patu Pavitra Kirtanaha Bhumandalam Sarshapavadvilakshate Yanmudnimam Pat Sabhumi Mandale Senasu Mam Rakshatu Sirapanir Yudhe Sada Rakshatu Mam Halicha Durgeshu Chavyan Musali Sadamam Vaneshu Sankarshana Adideva Kalinda Javegaharo Jaleshu Nilambaro Rakshatu Mam Sadagnav Vayau Charamo Vatukhe Balascha Maharnavinantava Pusadamam Shri Vasudevo Vatu Parvateshu Sahasra Shirsha Chama Rogeshu Mam Rakshatu Rohiniyo Mam Kamapalo Vatuva Vipatsu Kamat Sadakar Rakshatu Dhenu Kari Krodhat Sada Mam Divida Prahari Lobhat Sada Rakshatu Balvalarir Mohat Sada Mam Kilamagadhari Rata Sada Rakshatu Vrishnidhuryah Prahani Sada Mam Mathura Purendra Madhyandine Gopasakha Prapatu Swarat Parane Vatu Mam Sadaiva Sayam Fanindro Vatu Mam Sadaiva Parat Paro Rakshatu Mam Pradoshe Purne Nishithe Chaduranta Viryaha Pratyusha Kale Vatu Mam Sadaiva Vidikshu Mam Rakshatu Revati Patir Dikshu Pralambari Rado Yadodvaha Urdhvam Sada Mam Balabhadra Arat Tatha Samantat Baladeva Evahi Anta Sada Vyat Purushattamo Bahir Nagendra Lilo Vatu Mam Mahabala Sadantaratma Chavasanhari Swayam Prapatu Purna Parameshwaro Mahan Devasuranam Bhayanashanam Cha Hutashanam Papachayindananam Vinashanam Vignagatasya Vedhi Siddhasanam Varmavaram Valasya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare बलभद्र स्तोत्र कवच की जय। शिला व्यासदेव की जय। Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, we will read the translations of this prayer now. Anybody would like to read?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji, Kishori Mataji.
May Lord Balaram, who is the master of Goloka, who is the supreme controller of all controllers, and whose fame is spotless, protect me. May Lord Balaram, who on his head holds the earth as if it were a single mustard seed, protect me in this world. May Lord Balaram protect me when I am surrounded by many armies. May Lord Balaram, who holds a plow, always protect me in battle. May Lord Balaram, who holds a club, always protect me in many fortresses. May Lord Balaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, protect me in the forest. May Lord Balaram, who wears blue garments and who stopped the Yamuna, always protect me in fire. May Lord Balaram protect me in the wind. May Lord Balaram protect me in the sky. May Lord Balaram, who is Lord Ananta himself, always protect me in the great ocean. May Lord Balaram, who is Vasudeva's son, protect me on mountains. May Lord Balaram, who has 1,000 heads, protect me in great disputes. May Lord Balaram, who is Rohini's son, protect me from diseases. May Lord Balaram, who fulfills desires, protect me from catastrophes. May Lord Balaram, who is the enemy of Dhenukasura, always protect me from lust. May Lord Balaram, who killed Tivida, always protect me from anger. May Lord Balaram, who is the enemy of Balvala, always protect me from greed. May Lord Balaram, who is the enemy of Jarasandha, always protect me from illusion. May Lord Balaram, who is the best of the Vrishnis, always protect me at sunrise. May Lord Balaram, who is the king of Mathura city, always protect me in the morning. May Lord Balaram, who is the friend of the Gopas, always protect me at midday. May Lord Balaram, who is supremely independent, always protect me in the afternoon. May Lord Balaram, who is the king of serpents, always protect me at sunset. May Lord Balaram, who is greater than the greatest, always protect me in the evening. May Lord Balaram, whose power is invincible, always protect me in the middle of the night. May Lord Balaram always protect me at every sunrise. May Lord Balaram, who is the master of Revati, protect me from every direction. May Lord Balaram, who is the enemy of Pralamba, protect me from every direction. May Lord Balaram, who is the best of the Yadavas, protect me from below. May Lord Balaram always protect me from above. May Lord Balaram protect me from near and far. May Lord Balaram protect me everywhere. May Lord Balaram, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, always protect me from within. May powerful Lord Balaram, who enjoys pastimes as the King of Serpents, protect me from without. May Lord Balaram, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul residing in everyone's heart, always. Please know that this Kavacha of Lord Balaram is the best of armors. It destroys the fears of the demigods and demons. It is a blazing fire that burns up the fuel of a host of sins. It is the death of a host of obstacles. It is the abode of spiritual perfection. May Lord Balaram protect us all. Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kishori Mataji. Wonderful reading. Yes, may Lord Balaram protect all of us, all the devotees, all the sincere followers on the path of bhakti, who are trying to make an endeavor to follow the instructions of the spiritual master of our Guru Parampara. So, yes, like we said yesterday, Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna are not different, and the supreme power, of course, comes from the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, and Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. So they are the same tattva, but in quality and mood they're a little different. So while one is the Lord who accepts service, that's Krishna. Balaram is the Lord who renders service. So Krishna expanded himself to taste the different mellows of rasas, and Lord Balaram is in the mood of servitorship. So one is the Lord who accepts service, other is the Lord who renders service, and he's the ultimate protector. Like we saw, he protects all pure devotees, just like we saw the movie Narsimha. Prahlad Maharaj, as a pure devotee, is protected by Narsinghadev. Similarly, here we are reading Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, who is also another pure devotee of the Lord, pure representative of the Adu Balram. And right now we are reading chapter 31, where there are some troubles going on now, and almost after 5 years of Prabhupada's arrival in US, now 1970, 4 years after ISKCON has been established, and centers are flourishing all over the world, or all over at least the US. For sure, there are more than 20 centers, temples in US, Canada, in Europe, and there are some kind of offshoots of troubles happening where disciples are starting to think of themselves as the leaders, as the next generation, and also almost at the extent of neglecting their spiritual master Srila Prabhupada and his instructions. And we see some basic, again, that the tendency to commit offenses comes when we lack purity, right? So Prabhupada says books are the basis, purity is the force. So if we don't have purity, then we will not be able to come to the last stage, which is preaching is the essence. But like he says, in an order, books are the basis. So we should read Prabhupada's books, we should read his instructions, we should follow his guidelines. Then we should follow the instructions, the 4 regulative principles, should chant, right? So that is the purity. That purity comes from following sadhana, from a regulated bhakti sadhana. And then when we do that, then we can come to the level of preaching, which is the essence. If somebody tries to jump to preaching without first themselves having the purity, then we see that the troubles can start coming up. So anyway, so Prabhupada was responding to, or actually calling some of his trusted disciples over to LA, where he is now, because he's seeing some of these things cropping up. His name is incorrectly printed in the books, where disciples are not allowing him to get onto the Rath Yatra cart in San Francisco Rath Yatra, right? So so those kind of troubles are happening, but Prabhupada is now invited or called all his trusted disciples. So Malkrishna Maharaj has come all the way from Paris, Rupanuga Prabhu, Bhavananda Prabhu from Boston, New York, and of course there are disciples from New Vrindavan, Kitananda Swami. So we'll see Prabhupada is feeling like this is like a fire that is about to engulf the society, and he's really, really disturbed. He's feeling ill and sick, but he's called all his trusted disciples, and we'll see what happens next. So we'll continue reading chapter 31. Prabhupada confided in Rupanuga, Tamal Krishna, and Bhagavan about the various incidents: his mail withheld, his name misprinted, his riding in the Rath Yatra parade restricted. He mentioned these and other indications that certain persons wanted to move him into the background, out of the reach of his disciples. He didn't want to stay in Los Angeles. He didn't want to stay in the United States. He didn't even want to go to Europe. He wanted to leave the arena of his disciples' offenses. But before leaving, he wanted to complete his plans for establishing a governing body to manage ISKCON. To this end, he dictated the following on July 28. I, Danda signed, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, disciple of Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, came in the United States in 1965 on September 18th for the purpose of starting Krishna consciousness movement. For 1 year, I had no shelter. I was traveling in many parts of this country. Then, in 1966, July, I incorporated the society under the name and style, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, briefly ISKCON. Gradually, the society increased, and one after another, branches were opened. Now we have got 34 branches enlisted herewith. As we have increased our volume of activities, now I think a governing body commission, hereinafter referred to as the GBC, should be established. I am getting old, 75 years old. Therefore, at any time I may be out of the scene. Therefore, I think it is necessary to give instruction to my disciples how they shall manage the whole institution. They are already managing individual centers represented by one president, one secretary, and one treasurer. And in my opinion, they are doing nice. But we want still more improvement in the standard of temple management, propaganda for Krishna consciousness, distribution of books and literatures, openings of new centers, and educating devotees to the right standard. Therefore, I have decided to adopt the following principles, and I hope my beloved disciples will kindly accept them. Prabhupada then listed the names of the 12 persons who would form the GBC. Shriman Rupanuga Das Adhikari, Shriman Bhagwan Das Adhikari, Shriman Shyam Sundar Das Adhikari, Shriman Satswarupa Das Adhikari, Shriman Karandhar Das Adhikari, Shriman Hansadut Das Adhikari, Shriman Tamal Krishna Das Adhikari, Shriman Sudama Das Adhikari, Shriman Balimardan Das Brahmachari, Shriman Jagadish Das Adhikari, Shriman Hayagriva Das Adhikari, Shriman Krishna Das Adhikari. These personalities are now considered as my direct representatives. While I am living, they will act as my zonal secretaries, and after my demise, they will be known as executors. Prabhupada further described the role of the sannyasis. I have already awarded sannyas, or the renounced order of life, to some of my students, and they have also got very important duties to perform in this connection. The sannyasis will travel to our different centers for preaching purpose, as well as enlightening the members of the center for spiritual advancement. Prabhupada's legal document went on to set forth general directions for the GBC secretaries. They should travel regularly to the temples in their respective zones to ensure that each devotee chanted 16 rounds and followed a regulated schedule, and that the temples were clean. His 12 GBC secretaries would relieve him of management, and they would rectify present and future difficulties within the society. That rectification, Prabhupada's document explained, would be possible only when the devotees in each temple engaged fully in regulated devotional service, rising early for Mangalarti at 4:30, attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, and reciting the Sanskrit verses, and chanting in the streets and distributing Back to Godhead magazines and other Krishna conscious literature. This emphasis on strictly following Krishna conscious principles would supersede all material formulas for management. The GBC would ensure that in their appointed zones, all the devotees were properly engaged. There would be no Maya. The next day, Prabhupada drafted another significant statement naming Bhagavan, Rupanuga, and Karandhara trustees of his Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. The Bhaktivedanta Book Trust account will be used to publish my books and literature, and to publish temples and to establish temples throughout the world. Specifically, 3 temples are to be established, one each in Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri. Since returning to America in 1967, Prabhupada had often said he would stay permanently in America as the adopted son of his disciples. Now he revealed new plans. He spoke of going to India to preach and to establish large ISKCON temples. For the devotees who base their activities mostly in small rented houses, Prabhupada's constructing cathedral-like buildings in India was inconceivable. In India, Prabhupada said he would teach his disciples how to preach and how to establish temples. Prabhupada picked a team, including 2 newly initiated sannyasis, to accompany him to India. In the future, he said, more disciples could join him, for India would become an important field for Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada wrote Satswarupa and Uddhava in Boston. You are all my children, and I love my American boys and girls who are sent to me by my spiritual master, and I have accepted them as my disciples. Before coming to your country, I took sannyas in 1959. I was publishing Back to Godhead since 1944. After taking sannyas, I was more engaged in writing my books without any attempt to construct temples or to make disciples like my other God brothers in India. I was not very much interested in these matters because my Guru Maharaj liked very much publication of books than constructing big temples and creating some neophyte disciples. As soon as he saw that his neophyte disciples were increasing in number, he immediately decided to leave this world. To accept disciples means to take the responsibility of absorbing the sinful reaction of life of the disciple. At the present moment in our ISKCON campus, politics and diplomacy has entered. Some of my beloved students on whom I counted very much have been involved in this matter, influenced by Maya. As such, there has been some activity which I consider as disrespectful. So I have decided to retire and divert attention to book writing and nothing more. On July 31st, Prabhupada wrote Brahmananda and Gargamuni explaining why he was leaving for India. In order to set example to my other sannyasi students, I am personally going to Japan with a party of 3 other sannyasi students. Although it is beyond my physical condition, still I am going out so that you may learn the responsibility of sannyas. I am fervently appealing to you all not to create fracture in the solid body of the society. Please work conjointly without any personal ambition. That will help the cause. It is the injunction of the Vedas that the spiritual master should not be treated as ordinary man. Even sometimes the spiritual master behaves like ordinary man. It is the duty of the disciple to accept him as a superhuman man. In the beginning of your letter, your comparison of the soldier and the commander is very appropriate. We are on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. One side Maya, the other side Krishna. So, the regulative principles of a battlefield, namely to abide by the order of the commander, must be followed. Otherwise, it is impossible to direct the fighting capacity of the soldiers and thus defeat the opposing elements. Kindly therefore take courage. Let things be rightly done so that our mission may be correctly pushed forward to come out victorious. Prabhupada wrote letters revealing his plans to travel to India. Our life is very short. The Krishna consciousness movement is not meant for fulfilling one's personal ambition, but it is a serious movement for the whole world. I am therefore going to the Eastern Hemisphere, beginning from Japan. We are going 4 in a party, and all of us are sannyasis. In this old age, I am going with this party just to set an example to my disciples who have taken recently the sannyas order. In preparation for Prabhupada's trip to India, Prabhupada's secretary, Devananda, now Devananda Swami, asked him questions from the immigration form, mechanically reading the questions and filling in the answers as Prabhupada replied, "Have you ever committed any criminal acts?" Devananda asked, reading from the form. Prabhupada's eyes widened. "You are asking your spiritual master if he did anything criminal?" And he turned to Bhagwan. "You see, I am simply surrounded by people I cannot trust. It is a dangerous situation." Prabhupada sat in his garden the night before his departure. "Don't be disturbed," he told the disciples with him. "We are not going backward, we are going forward. I will reveal everything to you. I will rectify." His strong words and criticisms, he said, had been to enlighten his disciples, to warn them and show them the subtleties of Maya. Karandara mentioned that the temple leaders had arranged that only a few devotees go with Prabhupada the next day to the airport. Where did this idea come from? Prabhupada asked. Srimad Bhagavatam instructs that when a saintly person leaves your company, all present should follow the departing vehicle as far as possible until it is out of sight. So the next day, the devotees all accompanied Prabhupada, chanting and dancing behind him through the long corridors of Los Angeles International Airport. After many months with them, he was now leaving. Devotees cried. Prabhupada, dressed in new garments, his head freshly shaven, looked effulgent. He sat in the departure lounge, head held high, as grave and unfathomable as ever. He was embarking on a new adventure for Lord Chaitanya. He was old and might not return, he said, but his disciples should continue the Krishna consciousness movement seriously. If you follow this new schedule, he said, you will keep Maya from attacking. And then he left them. En route to Japan, Prabhupada stopped overnight in Hawaii. He stayed in a motel, and Gaurasundara and Govindadasi came to talk with him. Govindadasi wanted Prabhupada to stay and install the deities of Radha and Krishna in the temple. If Gaurasundara agreed, Prabhupada said he would stay a few days longer to perform the deity installation. Let me consult, Gaurasundara replied. And the next day Prabhupada flew on to Japan. From Japan, Prabhupada wrote Govindadasi. It is very encouraging to learn that people inquired about me and were eager to hear my speaking. I could have stayed 1 or 2 more days. There was no hurry. But you did not make any arrangement. I personally proposed to Gaurasundara that I shall install the deities, and he replied that let me consult. But he never informed me of the result of that consultation and with whom he had to consult. So this is the present situation in our ISKCON society. It is clear that a great mischievous propaganda was lightly made, and the effect has created a very unfavorable situation, and I am very much afflicted in this connection. Still, there is time to save the society out of this mischievous propaganda, and I hope all of you combine together to do the needful. At the Tokyo airport, Prabhupada was greeted by executives of Dai Nippon Printing Company, the printers of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the 20,000 monthly copies of Back to Godhead. Prabhupada and his entourage rode in a limousine, courtesy of Dai Nippon, to a small private apartment about 45 minutes from the temple. Prabhupada had developed a severe cough and several other symptoms of ill health due, he said, to his disciples' behavior. Yet, despite his illness, he would talk for hours of his concern for ISKCON, especially with his traveling GBC secretary, Tamal Krishna. Soon after their arrival in Japan, Prabhupada's secretary received a disturbing call from a devotee attending the society-wide Janmashtami celebration at New Vrindavan. 4 of the newly initiated sannyasis had arrived, the devotee said, and were teaching a strange philosophy. Devotees were confused. Prabhupada had left America, the sannyasis were saying, because he had rejected his disciples. The sannyasis were blaming themselves and other disciples for not realizing that Prabhupada was actually Krishna. When Prabhupada heard this, he said, "That is why I did not go. I knew this would happen. This is impersonalism." He defined the Mayavad, impersonal conception of the Guru and Krishna. If one says that the Guru is God, or if the Guru himself says that he is God, that is Mayavada philosophy. For the Mayavadis, spiritual realization is realization of one's identity with Brahman, the all-pervading spirit. Despite their austerities and their detachment from materialistic society, and despite their study of Vedanta Sutra and the commentaries of Shankara, they mistakenly think that Krishna's body, name, pastimes, service, and devotees are all facets of Maya or illusion. Therefore, they are called Mayavadis. A Mayavadi spiritual master does not reveal to his disciple the holy name of Krishna, the holy pastimes of Krishna, or the transcendental form of Krishna, since the Mayavadi considers all these Maya. Instead, the Guru explains the oneness of all things, teaching the disciples that the concept of separate existence and ego is illusion. The Mayavadis sometimes compare the Guru to a ladder. One uses the ladder to reach a higher position, but if the ladder is no longer needed, one kicks it away. Coughing intermittently and speaking with physical discomfort, Prabhupada explained the Mayavadis' dangerous misconceptions. The impersonalists held a cheap, mundane view of the Guru's worship, and the Guru's instructions. If one says that the Guru is God and God is not a person, then it follows logically that the Guru has no eternal personal relationship with his disciples. Ultimately, the disciple will become equal to the Guru, or in other words, he will realize that he too is God. Arguing from Vedic scriptures, Prabhupada refuted the Mayavadis' claim. The individual souls, he said, are Krishna's eternal servants, and this master-servant relationship is eternal. Service to Krishna, therefore, is spiritual activity. Only by serving the Guru, however, can a disciple fully revive his eternal relationship with Krishna. The Vedic literature gives paramount importance to serving the spiritual master. He is the representative of God, the direct, manifest link to God. No one can approach God but through him. Lord Krishna says, "Those who are directly my devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are devotees of my servant, the spiritual master, are factually my devotees." Hare Krishna. Yes, so as we were talking about Sri Balaramji, that is the summary here Prabhupada is coming to, right? That the expansion of Krishna, Balaramji, who is the Adi Guru, who is the servant, the foremost and eternal servant of the Lord, and who is the representative of as a spiritual master. We should, everything in this world, like we were describing yesterday in the Katha, everything comes from Balaramji. And so when we worship Balaramji, like Prabhupada was saying when he was in Boston, he was very happy with his disciples when they had beautiful altars of the deities, and they had the paraphernalia, and they were cleaning the temple, they were cleaning the paraphernalia of Arati, the plates, the utensils. He was saying, we are cleaning your heart, you're actually cleaning the spiritual master's heart, because Balaramji is not different from those paraphernalia. So they're actually cleaning Balaramji's heart, and that way, they're being blessed, that their own hearts are being cleansed. So same thing when we do our sadhana with japa, following the regulatory principles, following the instructions of Guru, then we are cleansing our hearts of all these impurities, all these anarthas that are there in a very subtle, very, very subtle, sukshma form, and they may crop up at any time if we are not careful, if we don't follow the process as given or as prescribed as it is, right? When we get medications from doctors, we have to take it as it is, follow the directions. We cannot whimsically say, I will take it today, I will not take it tomorrow, or I will take it after 1 week, when it has to be taken every day. So, yeah. Again, everything that we are reading here, I was telling Lalita Prasad Prabhu yesterday, of course, as disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they were so fortunate to have received direct instructions from Srila Prabhupada. But as Prabhupada says, spiritual master lives by his instructions. So he said he always felt that he was always close to his Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because he always used to follow his instructions. So similarly, the Vapu is the physical association. Even though that is gone, the Vani, the instructions the instructions of the spiritual master are there in the forms of Vani, and when we read them, when we associate with them, then we are actually associating with Srila Prabhupada. So we are so grateful to his sincere disciples who compiled all of this for us, and we can read this today, and we can associate with Srila Prabhupada through his instructions. Okay, so I think we'll pause here. Any other thoughts, comments, any other reflections? Shuchita Mataji, nice to see you. Thank you for joining in the morning.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, yes. Anything else? Ritesh Prabhu, Shama Karuna Mataji, Pavan Prabhuji, anything you want to share? Any thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, everything is good.
Hare Krishna. Okay, all right, so then we'll end here. Thank you so much for your kind association on a Sunday morning. And hope everybody has a wonderful, blissful, Krishna conscious day. We'll end with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavandi ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Adi Guru Shri Balaramji ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.